Hey, what's up guys? Some more gameplay from Rome 2. So first of all, I want to say all credit for this goes to Lionheart times 10. Check out his channel. He's the one who put this up originally. If you want to see the full video, go to him. He has the gameplay with the game sounds, his commentary. It's very good. I want to say first and foremost, go to him. I'm not trying to steal his credit or his video or anything. I would just like to add my own analysis of the video and stuff like that, and I figured, you know, whether it's CA that puts that out officially or if it's another commentator that has exclusive access, I feel like I should still be able to commentate it. But I do want to make sure that you guys go and support Lionheart. He does great content, does all sorts of Total War stuff, and this is his part of his campaign, so make sure to check out his video first to get the full feel through, and if you want to watch the rest of this video. Otherwise, you know, I'll just dive into it and let's talk a bit about it. I also want to note that I have put, again, that melodious piano soundtrack in the background. This goes out to you, the guy watching this in your bed late at night on his phone. Hope this puts you to sleep. Anyways, yeah, this video is going to be taking place in the Prologue Campaign, so Lionheart has a substantial Roman force. He says, however, this is actually built up to be a besieging army, and he had the intention of besieging the last of the Samnites' forces in their last and final settlement, but the Samnites have actually sallied out and they're coming to attack him in a land engagement. So he has, that is, Lionheart has a pretty good, substantial force. 4 Hastati, 3 Triarii, and then 3 legionary veterans. So that's a pretty cool unit. 2 Velites, and then a bunch of cavalry, and 3 onagers. And also the terrain itself is very, very interesting. I love seeing non-flat plain maps, just because you can really take advantage of the height, not only for the advantage it gives you in terms of defensive bonuses, but also how you can hide your troops. You can see, for example, right here behind this ridge, you can hide behind it, move your troops around. Now Lionheart doesn't make great use of the new line of sight mechanism. That's something I'm definitely going to try and exploit, not only in the campaign map, but more specifically in multiplayer. On a map like this, though it seems like it would be pretty open, there are a ton of little nooks and crannies where you can set up ambushes and be deceptive, so I'm definitely going to be exploiting that as much as possible. I love playing and essentially fucking with people's minds when it comes to multiplayer, and that's how I tend to win my battles. And I'll definitely be enjoying the barbarian factions, which I'm guessing will have even more bonuses. Anyways, he does have a relatively sound strategy. Moves cavalry on the flank, moves up his main legionaries in the center, and has a sort of a screening preliminary force on the left. This is pretty sound, but again, I would do things differently. I think that he should split up his forces. The onagers should move up to the middle, start pelting the enemy forces, and rather than blobbing up all his infantry, he should actually send them on the flanks in order to support his velites, and I would support my cavalry with some triarii in case they do run into other cavalry. That way you can kind of retreat your cavalry and regroup them behind some spears. But you know, this is against the AI, so I don't want to detract anything from it. Plus, Lionheart is doing this as a live commentary, so you know, he just wants to get the battle done and over with. But when it comes to multiplayer, I'll definitely try and give you guys some pointers in that sense of how you can win these battles in a more efficient way. You can see here the Velites moving up on the side. Some cool things that you'll be seeing later is they actually have a flaming javelin ability. That's nothing I would have expected. Definitely something very cool, but you know, you will probably have to research it. His main move right now is going to be to move up his legionary forces and support them with the onagers. The onagers can be moved. Of course, they're better in terms of fighting siege battles, but here you'll see they actually do engage the enemy from a distance. And what's very cool about these is it's kind of looking back at the previous Total War games where you could actually send diseased projectiles at the enemy, so that's one of the things he does later in the battle. And I had to pause the screen. You see it for like a millisecond, but the effects of it are it reduces the range of the onagers when you enable that ability. But if you do land a hit, what it does is it decreases melee attack and increases fatigue of the target, whoever gets hit by it, and you're basically flinging dead carcasses of animals at the enemy, which is pretty cool. Now he's going to move up the Triarii. Again, I would have moved up the Triarii at the same time and had them support the flanks. I'm guessing when I do play as Rome, I'm not going to be using the triplex axes. There's no reason to. I will have my triarii out on the flanks, guarding different areas, and some of them will be in the back, but I won't be keeping them strictly in the back as reserve. I think the triplex axes works definitely historically, but in multiplayer, you definitely want to be more on your toes and spread out your forces a little more, because of course you do have an eye in the sky when it comes to commanding your forces. They're much more responsive, and yeah, it's just that much easier to orient your forces, so you don't need to stick to the standard formation of the triplex axis, which is the standard triple lines. And also I really love the cinematic camera here. It's very epic. I can definitely see myself using this to put on some very cool cinematics. The what I would presume to be the centurion in the middle is urging his men forward. Now historically, we're not actually sure if the centurion would always lead from the center of the unit. Some people tend to think that he would have been on the honorary position of being on the right. Some accounts do tell us that the centurion was there, but we're not sure where he was throughout Roman history. Here it looks like they've depicted him as being in the middle, so that's just another thing to note. And the general is going to be moving up. The general, of course, has certain abilities where he can rally his forces, and here this is going to be important to take account of. The Italian cavalry are moving forward, gonna try and charge these velites, but it seems like actually 2 velites will be able to take out these Roman cavalry, but again he does have to use his special flaming javelin ability, and these are experienced velites, so that's something that just proves that the velites will be viable in fending off cavalry. But again, maybe those were not the fastest cavalry, maybe they were not the most upgraded ones. So, you know, that's just something you have to take into account. Skirmishers will not be total pushovers, especially if you use the line of sight with them. And here, Lionheart tries to retreat them and basically gets his legionaries to hold their ground. Traditionally, the legionaries would have wanted to be on the charge when they assaulted their enemies. Generally all forces wanted to do that. It was rare for forces to be at a standstill, so you know, you wanted your forces to charge, because in a charge it can kind of get your adrenaline moving, and it's a good way to get the fear out of your system if you just start charging. Although notably at the Battle of Pharsalus, Pompey's forces, and I did pronounce it Pompey correctly now after you guys had told me how to pronounce it correctly, Pompey's legionaries actually, interestingly enough, did not charge forward, and they kind of held their ground, which was very odd. And in the face of it, Caesar's forces had to hold, reform their line, address their line, and then charge again in a more unified front. So that's sort of the rare occasion where you saw the Roman legionary forces not necessarily attacking, although in this case it does seem like the Samnites have taken the charge. And yeah, Lionheart's troops are starting to feel the brunt of the forces in the middle crumbling. The slingers in the back for the Samnites are actually doing very well, picking off the Roman forces, although Lionheart's legionaries will hold their own, and especially when he moves up his additional reinforcements, he gets some flank attacks, and his general moves up to encourage his troops. They're going to be doing much better. So yeah, it's good to see the Roman legionaries pushing forward, showing that you know, they do have their stuff. And you can see in the background the onagers landing their some of their, I guess, deliverables, we could call them, the projectiles, amongst the enemy. Finally, he's going to move up his triarii in combination with his general. So, you know, he is kind of sticking to the Roman idea of keeping strategic reserves, which is something not that was pretty uncommon in terms of stuff you would see in ancient warfare, especially among the Hellenic forces, because they had the tradition of trying to lead your forces from the front, as Alexander the Great did, and so they weren't able to command their forces from the rear as Roman generals often did. And so what you saw with the Hellenic forces was actually they deployed en masse. The general would be in charge of his companion cavalry, and they would charge from the front. It was a very noble and honorable thing that was expected from the commander. And you know, because of that, because he wasn't able to lead his forces, the troops would essentially be formed up in a single massed line, and that also had the benefit of the more massive your line is, the deeper your ranks can be, the more staying power they have, and the harder they are to break. Also, I want to mention the troops running away here. They definitely look exhausted, kind of stumbling along. So again, more details. That'll be it for the video. Make sure to check out Lionheart for the original content, for the original video and his commentary. I just want to support him and the other YouTubers, Prince of Macedon and all those guys. So yeah, this has been another video. See you guys next time. Peace out.